Dust mitigation in Gunite pool. Shell construction, Dallas climate considerations. Gunite, dry mix shotcrete, application for pool shells can generate significant dust, which poses challenges for both worker safety and construction quality. In Dallas, Texas, outdoor conditions range from hot, dry summers to cooler winters, requiring year-round strategies to control dust. Excessive airborne cement and sand dust not only creates a mess and health hazard, but can also interfere with the bonding of successive shotcrete layers if it settles on surfaces. Below, we explore best practices to mitigate dust during Gunite application, focusing on maintaining strong layer bonds, and discuss effective use of blowers, air systems, and innovative solutions. Environmental factors like temperature, humidity, and wind are also considered, with practical measures that pool builders can implement on site. Dust challenges in Gunite applications. Dry process shotcrete inherently produces more dust than wet concrete placement because dry cement and fine aggregates are pneumatically blown and mixed with water at the nozzle. The high-velocity stream and rebound, ricochet of material off surfaces, create clouds of fine dust. If this dust settles on fresh or hardened shotcrete layers or steel reinforcement, it can act as a bond breaker, preventing new material from adhering properly. Dallas's climate can exacerbate dust issues. In summer, intense heat and lower midday humidity allow dust to stay airborne longer, while any wind will carry dust further. In winter, cooler temperatures and occasional higher humidity can help dust settle more quickly. But dry, cold air and the use of accelerators for setting can still result in dust and overspray that needs removal. Wind is a major factor in North Texas. Steady breezes or gusts will affect the spray pattern and spread dust over a wide area. As the American Shotcrete Association, ASA, notes, outdoor shotcreting is often subject to wind that can carry material and dust away from the placement area. Shotcrete.org. To prevent stray dust from impacting adjacent areas or the pool itself, builders often erect plastic sheeting or tarps as windbreaks and containment barriers. Shotcrete.org. In summary, understanding the day's weather, temperature, humidity, and wind conditions is critical so the crew can adapt their dust control measures. For example, scheduling shoots for calmer times of day or using extra water mist on especially dry days. Ensuring effective bonding between layers. A primary concern with Gunite dust is its effect on the bond between layers of shotcrete in the pool shell. For a pool shell to behave as one monolithic structure, any layering, whether from multiple passes in one continuous shoot or from a cold joint between shoots, must bond thoroughly. Dust and loose rebound material on the surface will inhibit that bond. Best practices therefore emphasize cleaning and preparing the substrate between layers. Blowing and brushing. Immediately during application, a crew member should use an air blow pipe or blower to continuously clear away rebound and dust from reinforcing steel and previously shot areas. Shotcrete.org. This prevents accumulation of loose material that could get trapped under fresh shotcrete. After one section is shot and before the next layer or adjacent section is applied, the surface should be blown clean of all dust and fine debris. Using a blower or compressed air is a standard step to remove dust and ensure the next layer has a clean surface to bond to. In some cases, even a light brooming can help dislodge stubborn dust, but air pressure is usually most effective. Water cleaning. If the shotcrete has taken an initial set, for example, when returning the next day to finish areas, more aggressive cleaning is recommended. The first layer or any construction joint is usually water blasted or pressure washed to wash away loose material and dust and to roughen the surface slightly for mechanical keying. Shotcrete.org. ASA guidelines note that water blasting a hardened layer removes dust overspray and also opens up the pores of the concrete surface, promoting a better bond with the next layer. Shotcrete.org. In pool construction joints, experts likewise advise using a blower or pressure washer to remove all dirt, dust, and debris before placing new material. Criton.com. This ensures no fine powder is left to interfere with adhesion. Surface saturation. After cleaning, the substrate should be pre-wetted to a saturated surface dry (SSD) condition prior to shooting the next layer. A damp but not dripping surface prevents the fresh gunite from losing water too quickly and helps it knit into the substrate. It also aids in capturing any remaining dust, essentially turning it into a slurry that can be blown or brushed off. Industry best practices for shotcrete repairs stress that this combination of thorough cleaning, removing all dust, loose sand, etc., and adequate pre-wetting is crucial for a quality bond. Shotcrete.org. Notably, bonding agents are typically not used in shotcrete. A clean, rough SSD surface is sufficient for an excellent bond, whereas any film, including dried bonding agents or dust, would act as a bond breaker. Shotcrete.org. By diligently removing dust and rebound between layers and keeping the shotcrete surface moist, but not overly wet, pool builders can ensure that each new layer of Gunite fuses properly to the previous one. This prevents delamination and cold joints, resulting in a stronger pool shell. Techniques to mitigate dust during Gunite application. There are several best practices and innovative solutions to reduce dust generation at the source and to manage airborne dust on site. Implementing these measures will improve visibility, safety, and the quality of the application. Below are key techniques and equipment recommendations for dust control. Pre-dampening the mix. One of the most effective ways to cut down dust in dry mix shotcrete is to add a little moisture to the mix before it is shot. Pre-dampening systems or attachments, sometimes called pre-dampeners or hydro nozzles, introduce water to the dry materials either in the Gunite machine's feed or by moving the water addition point further back from the nozzle. This slight moisture, bringing the mix to a semi-wet state, greatly reduces the amount of airborne dust both at the machine hopper and out of the nozzle. kpmindustries.com. It also eliminates static electricity buildup in the delivery hose, which is common in dry, dusty flow and can cause dust to cling or the hose to clog. kpmindustries.com. ASA confirms that wet mix shotcrete naturally produces far less dust since water is added early, but even in dry mix operations, accessories to pre-dampen the materials can dramatically reduce dust and improve mixing. Shotcrete.org. Pool builders should check with their equipment supplier for pre-dampening attachments or hydro nozzle kits that fit their Gunite rigs. This is a modern upgrade that significantly cuts dust without compromising the material. In fact, it often improves the consistency of the shotcrete. Use of blowers and air jets. As mentioned, having an air blower on hand is essential. A dedicated blowpipe, an air hose with a nozzle, operated by a crew member lets you continuously blow away rebound and dust from the work area while shooting. This keeps dust from accumulating on horizontal surfaces, like steps or ledges, and prevents clouds from lingering around the nozzleman's work. The ASA considers the blowpipe a key element of proper shotcrete placement, ensuring cleanliness and visibility as the work progresses. Shotcrete.org. In practice, many pool crews also use portable leaf blowers or air compressors to clear the shell and surrounding deck of dust after shooting each section. The goal is to remove dust promptly so it does not settle on fresh shotcrete or get inhaled by workers. For joints or finished surfaces, using the air blower in combination with a brush can remove fine dust effectively just before the next layer is applied. Always direct the blown dust away from the wet shotcrete surface, often outward or downward, not into the new work. By keeping an air jet directed at the interface where fresh material is being applied, crews can prevent dust from getting trapped under the new layer. Water mist and fogging systems. Water is a natural dust suppressant. Tiny water droplets can capture airborne dust particles and cause them to settle out. On very dry or windy days or in confined backyards, using a mist or fog system around the Gunite application area can greatly reduce airborne dust. For example, a simple setup of a misting nozzle on a hose or a portable fog cannon can be aimed to create a curtain of fine water mist downwind of the work. Research in tunnel shotcreting has found that combining a water mist spray with a ventilation fan can reduce dust by up to 90%. ResearchGate.net. Pool builders can adapt this idea by lightly misting the air near, but not directly on, the application zone to knock down dust. Caution: the mist should be very fine. Too much water directed at the fresh Gunite surface can oversaturate the material or make the work area muddy. ResearchGate.net. The key is to use just enough water in the air to capture dust without drenching the environment. In summer, this approach has the added benefit of cooling the area and keeping the rebound material damp so it doesn't create more dust when disturbed. In winter, misting should be used sparingly if temperatures are near freezing. Overall, a light fog around the Gunite stream, combined with a fan to drive it, is an innovative solution to achieve major dust suppression. ResearchGate.net. Vacuum and dust extraction equipment. Another approach is to capture dust at the source using vacuum systems or dust extractors attached to the Gunite equipment. Modern Gunite machines can be outfitted with dust collection systems. For instance, a dust extraction unit at the dry mix hopper that sucks in the fine particles instead of letting them billow out. Manufacturers like Reed have developed Gunite dust extractor add-ons that trap dust from the machine and even at the nozzle. Using such equipment keeps the job site significantly cleaner. It's important to maintain filters and dust collectors so they function effectively. kpmindustries.com. If a vacuum extractor is not available for the nozzle, even a heavy-duty shop vac can be used near the work area to capture dust off ledges or the ground. Though it won't catch the airborne dust right at the nozzle, it helps in cleanup. The shotcrete safety guidelines note that housekeeping is critical. Wetting down any dry material spills and maintaining dust collection systems will prevent lots of dust from ever getting airborne. kpmindustries.com. In practice, this means promptly cleaning up any piles of rebound or overspray dust by shoveling and wetting them, and ensuring any built-in dust filters on the machine, like on a bulk bag hopper or Gunite rig, are working and cleaned regularly. Mix control and equipment maintenance. Keeping the Gunite mix and equipment in optimal condition can itself reduce dust. A mix that is too dry will obviously generate more dust and rebound. Contractors should follow recommended water content or water-cement ratio for the mix and ensure the water pressure at the nozzle is consistent so that the mix is properly wetted as it exits. Avoid stop-and-go shooting that causes the nozzle to spit dry material. Additionally, regular maintenance of the Gunite machine, seals, gaskets, wear pads, etc., prevents leaks and blowback of dust. For example, worn rotary gun pads or misadjusted air pressure can let pressurized dust blow out around the hopper or hose connections. Ensuring these parts are in good shape and properly adjusted will contain the material until it reaches the nozzle. kpmindustries.com. Proper equipment settings, air volume, nozzle size, also ensure an efficient stream that wastes less material. All of this contributes to less dust generation. Training the nozzle man to shoot at the right distance and angle can minimize rebound, thus less loose material that turns to dust when it hits the ground. In essence, a well-maintained machine and skilled application technique will inherently produce less unnecessary dust. kpmindustries.com. Ventilation and wind management. In outdoor pool construction, you can't control the weather, but you can plan for it. If natural wind is carrying dust toward undesirable areas, like the house or neighbors, consider setting up temporary windbreaks or enclosures. As noted earlier, hanging tarps or plastic sheets on the perimeter of the work zone, especially on the downwind side, is a common practice to contain dust. Shotcrete.org. Also, using large fans or air movers can help. Position fans to draw dust away from the fresh Gunite. For example, a fan placed on the far side of the pool can pull the dust-laden air in that direction and away from the nozzle man and new work. OSHA guidelines for shotcrete emphasize providing adequate airflow away from points of dust generation and adding fan capacity if needed. kpmindustries.com. Essentially, you want air circulation that carries dust out of the pool excavation and into a filter or settling area. If working in a deep excavation or when there's no natural breeze, portable ventilation fans greatly improve conditions by preventing dust clouds from stagnating. Just be mindful that extremely strong fans directly on the work could cool the mix or cause it to dry too fast in hot weather, so use ventilation judiciously. Lastly, schedule Gunite shoots when wind conditions are favorable if possible. For instance, early morning often has calmer winds and higher humidity, which can reduce dust dispersal. Practical strategies for effective dust control. Pool builders in Dallas can implement the above measures as part of their standard operating procedure to keep dust under control while maintaining the integrity of the gunite. Here are some practical strategies to ensure success. Plan ahead for weather. Check the forecast and aim to shoot when conditions are ideal. Moderate temperature, lower wind. If you must shoot on a windy day, prepare windbreaks and have extra hands for dust control. On very hot, dry days, be ready with misting or additional curing water. Equip your crew. Invest in or rent dust mitigation equipment like pre-dampener units, hydro nozzles, or dust extractor attachments for your gunite rig. Ensure you have powerful blowers or an air compressor with blowpipe on site, as well as a pressure washer for post-shot cleanup. Simple tools like tarps, fans, and even garden sprayers can make a big difference in controlling dust. Have them available. Train and assign roles. Make dust control a team responsibility. The nozzleman should focus on proper technique, while another crew member manages the blowpipe to continuously remove rebound and dust. Train the crew to pause if needed to clean off critical areas, like ensuring rebar and joints stay dust-free. Emphasize the importance of cleaning and wetting between layers to every worker so no one neglects those steps. Maintain cleanliness. Throughout, don't wait until the job is over to deal with dust. Continuously collect and remove rebound piles during the shoot, dampening them first to prevent dust. If feasible, lightly spray down the surrounding area before and after shooting to lock down any dust on plastic or ground. By keeping the site as clean as possible in real time, you prevent dust from being tracked around or blown back onto the pool shell later. Good housekeeping is listed as a top engineering control for minimizing airborne silica dust. kp-trees.com. Ensure proper curing. Once the gunite is placed, proper curing, such as keeping the shell moist for several days, not only develops strength, but also helps any remaining surface dust to hydrate and harden rather than becoming airborne. In Dallas summers, curing by frequent misting or soaking of the new gunite is standard. This also has the side benefit of preventing any residual dust from drying out and blowing away. Just make sure the initial surface is clean before curing so you're not curing a layer of dust into the shell. By combining these strategies, from pre-dampening the mix to post-application cleanup, pool builders can drastically reduce dust during gunite application without compromising the material. In fact, many of these measures, proper mix moisture, surface prep, curing, directly improve the quality and strength of the pool shell. Builders working in the Dallas area should tailor their dust mitigation approach to the season, leveraging extra water and mist in the dry heat of summer, and focusing on wind control and substrate conditioning in the cooler winter. With attentive dust control, the layers of shotcrete will bond effectively, resulting in a durable, long-lasting pool shell. Implementing these best practices ensures not only a cleaner job site, but also a better final product, a pool shell built with excellent structural integrity and craftsmanship. Shotcrete.org. Shotcrete.org.